Everyone's always looking for that next big thing when it comes to real estate, and I'm here to save you guys the time and the headache because this city is going to become the next Fort Lauderdale. And that city isn't Oakland Park, it's not Lauderdale by the sea, it's not even Dania Beach. It's actually Pompano Beach, Florida. And I know what you're thinking, Joe, Pompano Beach, Florida? Have you been to Pompano? Like, there's no chance that Pompano is going to become the next Fort Lauderdale. It's vastly different, but that's exactly why I'm bullish on it. In this video, I'm going to tell you, number one, why Pompano is going to be the next Fort Lauderdale. We're going to compare Pompano to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to talk about some of the developments coming here to Pompano. We're also going to talk about who's Pompano a perfect fit for, like who's the perfect ideal person to live here in Pompano, the lifestyle, everything like that. And if you stick around to the end, we're also going to talk about the insane value that you get living on the water here in Pompano versus living on the water here in Fort Lauderdale. Before we jump into it though, all I ask is that you hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. Plus, if you want to know more about everything there is to know about South Florida, this is going to be the perfect resource for you. Speaking of resources, if you or anyone you know are looking to buy or sell in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, or South Florida in general, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, text us, or DM us, whatever's easiest for you. We got you. But now let's talk about it. Why is Pompano going to be the next Fort Lauderdale? And Pompano is going to become the next Fort Lauderdale for a variety of reasons. For starters, let's talk about the location. For a long time, it's just been kind of seen as the middle ground between both Fort Lauderdale and Boca. Like, people didn't want to live in either one, but they still want great access to things. They lived in Pompano. I mean, think about it. Pompano's only about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Fort Lauderdale and only about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Boca. Talk about a clutch location. On top of that, you do have great access to 95, 595 and the Turnpike, and you are east of 95 for the most part. So being east of 95 means that Pompano is on the water and it does have beach access. So hence the name Pompano Beach, which kind of makes sense. You have Pompano Beach with the beach. You also have a lot of homes on the water in the intercoastal. Speaking of the intercoastal though, you also have great access to Lighthouse Point Inlet. So if you want to go out to the ocean, you can, whether you're going fishing, going out for the day, or heading up to Boca, or heading south. It's a lot faster than going in the intercoastal. Speaking of that, a lot of people started to realize hey, there's a lot of homes here on the water and I'm getting insane value, which we're going to talk about at the end. And I can have, a larger center console boat. I can have something where, there's maybe not a ton of fixed bridges, or I can have a smaller boat as well, but I still get to enjoy that lifestyle on the water. And a lot of people within the city started to realize hey, we have a great location. Let's start building up the city. Let's start doing more and more development. So that really did happen within the last couple of years, where they redid a lot of main things here in Pompano, with number one being the fishing village and the Pompano Beach Pier. They completely transformed it. I remember growing up when you would go to the pier and Pompano Beach, it wasn't anything special. Yeah, it was a cool beach, but there wasn't anything really to do. Most people went to Deerfield Beach at the end of the day because it was just more fun. They had better restaurants, things like that. But now with the fishing village completely completed, along with the pier, a lot of people are out there fishing on the pier. Then they'll get off, grab a bite, hang out, or if fishing's not your thing, they come to Pompano Beach Pier in the fishing village to hang out and grab a bite to eat. So you have Boresco, Oceanic, Beach House. You also have Lucky Fish, which is a bar right there on the beach, which a ton of people love. And if you're looking for a sweet treat, there's also a Kilwins. And the development didn't stop with just the pier and the fishing village. They're also redoing the entire downtown Pompano area, and they brought some great restaurants like that of South Bar and Kitchen, as well as Papamigos. But honestly, if I'm looking to grab a bite to eat between you and I'm not going to either one. I'm gonna go to Flanagan's right there in Atlantic, and then after, probably hit up 26 Degree Brewing. But there's also other developments and things going on too, besides just downtown. So there's brand new apartment complexes popping up, it seems like every other day. Literally everywhere you go, if you're driving down Federal, either heading north or south, you look around, they're throwing up apartment building left and right. They're also redoing the casino, so Harris Casino is getting redone. And we recently just got a Topgolf as well. Before you had to drive all the way down to Miami or all the way up to West Palm to go to Drive Shack. So as you can see, a ton of development going on in that aspect, but probably the biggest thing coming to Pompano that's going to completely transform it is going to be the Ritz-Carlton residences right there on the beach. So they're going to be south of Atlantic on A1A, and they're going to be on both sides, a beachfront part of it as well as an intercoastal front part of it. So once that's completed, I promise you the entire landscape of Pompano is going to change. Now, if you're also looking for something brand new and beachfront condos, just not your style, you're looking for a townhome or single family home, D.R. Horton does have a new community here in East Pompano called Highland Oaks. So they do consist of 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhomes with a 1-car garage. So, looking for new construction, that's really your only option. They do start in the mid 400s. Honestly though, that's not bad. With all the incentives they're given, with interest rates, closing costs, money, it makes it almost a no-brainer to purchase that over some of the resale ones. Okay, now that we know all the stuff that's going on in Pompano and how Pompano's on the come up, how does Pompano really compare to Fort Lauderdale? Best way to put it is Fort Lauderdale's got a lot more going on. If you love nightlife, you love the atmosphere, the vibes, and that more kind of luxury / refined type feel, Fort Lauderdale's gonna be the spot for you. However, if you want more of a laid back, relaxed type atmosphere, Pompano's gonna be the spot. Nightlife wise, Fort Lauderdale's more clubbing, all that. Pompano's more, you know, like hole-in-the-wall bars, breweries, things, you know, I kind of like Pompano in that aspect. Then when it comes to things to do, they're pretty comparable. I know Fort Lauderdale does have a little bit more museums, a little bit more flashy things to do, but you know, the big thing to do in both of them and what it really comes down to, and the staple that really makes both cities what they are, is the boating and the beach. So I will say the beach in Fort Lauderdale definitely gets a lot more packed and it is more commercialized. Well, Pompano Beach isn't nearly as commercialized. Obviously they redid everything, but there's a lot of different things to do. It's quieter. You know, you're not gonna be fighting for, you know, a spot on the beach or parking. With that being said though, when it comes to boating, I will say, you know, they're tight. They're neck and neck with that one. And when you go out there and you're on the water, you will see some massive yachts in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, it is the yachting capital of the world after all. But the boats in Pompano are just as big, especially if you love fishing. So if you love fishing, Pompano is going to be the spot for you, especially when you have great access to the inlet and Lighthouse Point Inlet to get out to the ocean, or you can head north up to Lake Boca. While there's not really a true sandbar to either one, Fort Lauderdale does have a sandbar just around the 17th Street Bridge area, but you know, most people are either heading down the Hollover or they're heading north all the way up to Lake Boca. Okay, so Pompano compares to Fort Lauderdale in a lot of things. Obviously they have their similarities and they have their differences, but who's living in Pompano perfect for? Honestly, living in Pompano is perfect for someone who's looking for, you know, the laid back lifestyle. You want something a little bit slower pace of life while still a little bit of hustle and bustle. But honestly, you know who it's absolutely perfect for? Someone who loves boating and fishing. I mean, a lot of these homes here in Pompano are on the water, and a lot of people who live here in Pompano absolutely love being out on the water. Whether it's going out fishing, whether they're just hanging out on the boat, whether they're just hanging out right there at the inlet, you'll see tons and tons of people out on the water almost every single day, which is really a nice thing, but it's also kind of concerning when you think about it. Like, you're out there on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and everyone and their mom's out there like, don't some of these people work? And then you're like, you know what, we live in paradise, can't get any better than that, I'm on a boat, you know, I'm not gonna complain. But overall though, you do have great access to everything else as well. So if you love Boca too, but you don't want to pay Boca prices, but you like a lot of things there, living in Pompano might be your next best bet. Kind of the same thing with Fort Lauderdale. If you love Fort Lauderdale, but you don't love some things about it, living in Pompano is a great second option. So like I said, we're going to talk about the value of living on the water in Pompano versus living on the water in Fort Lauderdale. So I have it pulled up right here. So these are all the homes between Fort Lauderdale and Pompano, 500 to 1.5 million with 3+ bedrooms and over 2,000 square feet on the water. So our first one's one here in Pompano, 1.49 million, a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, just a little over 2,700 square feet. And as you can see, this home is completely updated, which is a nice thing, especially at that price point. You'll notice as we kind of look through some of them, some of the ones in Fort Lauderdale aren't as updated, just given the price point and most of the time the location as well. So that's one in Pompano. Here's another one in Pompano, 1.44. Decently updated as well. Let's kind of get back to the backyard pictures because that's what we're interested in. We want to see it on the water. You know, the house is nice, but we want to see the house on the water. And they're always the last pictures. Nice wide canal, nice dock. Not bad. Okay, so now our next one, our first one in Fort Lauderdale, 1.4 million, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a little over 2,700 square feet. And this house does have a guest house, which is kind of sweet, I'm not gonna lie. But that's a nice sized dock, nice pool. It's a nice wide canal as well. Right near downtown, as you can see, so not too far. Good parking. Not as updated inside, but still, I mean, getting a guest house is awesome. Now let's see what we got next. Another one here in Pompano, so 1.4 million almost. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a little over 2,200 square feet. Nice dock. Let's go back here. Got the pool, you know, all the kayaks, paddle boards, everything. It's kind of fun. That's exactly how I would set up my house. Everything back there, but also decently updated inside as well. You know, not bad. So as you can see, you know, you do get a little bit more for your money on the water in Pompano than you do in Fort Lauderdale. And I know it's not there yet, but Pompano definitely has the ability to catch up to Fort Lauderdale and become the next Fort Lauderdale or the next big thing here in South Florida. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Pompano is one of the best bets for an investment here in South Florida? And if you or anyone you know are looking to buy or sell in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, or South Florida in general, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, text us, DM us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.